So Mercury's going retrograde. What does that even mean? I know you've heard the word. I know you've heard it. There's a lot of memes on it. People use it as an excuse or a scapegoat. It's kind of like this thing that happens and it's kind of like a bad luck charm, right? But that's not actually really the case. It's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It's a neutral thing. And just like anything, if you can prepare appropriately, you know how to navigate it. So in this video, we're going to be talking about the upcoming Mercury retrograde happening in Taurus, beginning on the 21st of April, all the way through May 14th. So it's a span of time, it's a season, and that's what we're going to be addressing in this video today. So we're going to be talking about what is Mercury retrograde, kind of get some things straight. Also, how's it going to affect you, and how to prepare, plan, and do all the things. So let's go ahead and jump into what it is. So what is Mercury retrograde? So in the main definition, I guess you could call it, it means that the planet's going backwards, which it's really not. It can't go backwards, but it can slow down. And when it's slowing down, things get disrupted. So Mercury governs communication. It governs information. It's also the messenger, how something is delivered. And so think of like miscommunication, things not getting delivered. So like I immediately think like postal service, like stuff like that. Stuff is going to be out of whack. But it's not necessarily something to worry about per se. It's something to understand that you have control over or can look at if you can pause and not react or be impulsive. So Mercury retrograde is not a scary thing. It's not a horrible thing. It's not something to freak out about or have a lot of fear around. It's an inconvenience. It's a pain in the bees, in the behinds. It's not fun, but if you plan appropriately, it's manageable. Just like if you see like a weather forecast happening and you see that it's going to rain. If you come with your umbrella, I couldn't even think of the word, well, you're going to be protected. You're going to have something that is allowing you to be covered while this inclement weather is showing up. That's what this is indicating, or that's what this is showing you, is that Mercury retrograde is the rain showing up. This video is meant to be the umbrella to help you kind of mitigate some of the stuff, or at least have some preventative and plans of attack so that you know how to navigate the waters of what's going to be showing up in these next couple weeks. So this is a perfect opportunity to be looking at what it is that you are saying, and are you saying it in the way that you're wanting to say it? Whether that is through verbal communication, whether it's through texting or email, or however it is that you would give information out or communicate with somebody. Make sure that what it is that you are saying is actually the message that you are wanting to deliver, because the fact that this is Mercury retrograde means that something about what it is that you say, or maybe what it is that you are delivering to somebody else, may get misconstrued, may be misinterpreted, may not land the way that you were hoping it would land. And so it's important for you to be very clear in your messaging. That will help support you in terms of how to handle a little bit of what's going on with Mercury retrograde. The other is to give yourself permission to know that maybe things will be out of whack. Maybe you're not going to say it in the best way, and you might need to backtrack or like re-say the thing. So be able to say like, you know what, that's not exactly what I meant. What I meant was ... Or I'm sorry that I said it like that. This is what I meant to say ... And just be able to step back from it and realize that even though you may have not meant to deliver the message that way, or it came out a certain type of way, passive aggressive, then just know that you can still step back and apologize and say like, that's not what I meant. I meant to say this. Don't let this be an excuse for poor behavior or for saying things that are completely out of line. So some of the things to keep in mind. One is to think before you speak. Think before you say anything, whether it's verbally or through text or through email or however it is you would disseminate information. Think before you do it. The reason why is that this is a great opportunity to be reflecting on what it is that you were saying and making sure that the message you are putting out there matches what it is that you were intending. So think the opposite would be like more passive aggressive behavior. Even though you weren't intending to do that, it may show up like that, because this is a time where misunderstandings, miscommunication is starting to show up. So if you can be as clear as possible, then it's going to mitigate some of those miscommunications. It's also going to allow you to be expressing yourself in a better way. Now, with all that being said, you may not actually have the words come to mind. I'm having a difficult time with this video because there's certain words that I'm wanting to say and I'm getting a bit of the stutters, or the word's not coming to mind when I'm wanting it to, and it's frustrating. But you know what? That's just part of it. Some things may not come to mind. It might be hindsight that I'm going to be like, wow, okay, what I meant to say was da da da. And this can happen in your everyday life, whether it's with work, your relationships, how it is that you operate with your friends, whatever. You may find that there's going to be things that you were wanting to say and it's not coming out the way that you want it to. Have some grace. Have some grace for yourself. Okay, we're not meant to be perfect. It's going to be just one of those times where there's going to be confusion, static in the way that we're thinking and the way that it's coming out. So this is going to feel a little staticky, and the way that it comes out is going to be a little staticky. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad or wrong. This is permission to understand that you may not say the things in the best way, but it is a great opportunity to reflect, whether it's before, preferably not after, but before you actually do and say the things. A great example of this would be when you're going to be sending an email to somebody. You can actually pause before you hit send. If your email is one of those, per my last email, take out the per my last email. You know that typically does not land very well for people. It's a passive aggressive way of saying, did you not look at my email? So emails are great, even text messages before you hit the send, because when we're talking, it kind of just flows. But if it's something that you were typing or putting into where you would have to hit send or like deliver it out, that gives you an opportunity to pause and look at it. Reread it. Make sure that it's matching what it is that you are trying to convey and that you aren't sending a message that might send something else. We'll just say it like that, okay? Because you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes the intention is there, but it may not be, it may not put you in the best light. You know what I'm saying? So the long and short is, make sure that the messages that you are trying to say get conveyed in the best light possible. You don't want to put yourself in a situation where miscommunication is showing up, because that can lead to whole other kind of stuff. And with the moon conjunct Mercury, it's also going to make some emotions bubble up. And this might be a great time for you to reflect on what those emotions are. What are the things that you're wanting to say that may be either coming from a place of hurt, or maybe aren't warranted, or maybe need to be said, but should wait until after Mercury retrograde? So you're conveying it in the best way. This is not the opportunity or time to kind of let loose or to say all the things that you've been wanting to say. And you may feel like you need to, but this is not that time. Wait until after Mercury retrograde has happened, and even a little bit after. The whole month of May is pretty much not your best bet. Let things be as they will. Get your messaging together and also get clear on what your messaging is, because you don't want to be saying things that you might have to stick your foot in your mouth after, or feel like, oh gosh, I have to go back, apologize, or say something about it, because that's not really what it is that you meant to say. So Mercury retrograde is not a bad thing if you were prepared. And by being prepared, this is you having awareness on your communication, whatever modality it is that you use, and also how you're delivering that information. Make sure that when you are delivering it, that it's in the best way possible. A great example of this is text message. Texts can be very cold. And when you are texting someone, one-word answers can seem short, like just not like they care or that they're not paying attention. And really, there's nothing else to say, so there's no fluff to add to it. You're not going to say, oh, okay, thanks. Some people might just put okay. And okay can sound cut, cold, dismissive. Try to see if there's a different way of expressing yourself that may not convey a cold or dismissive type of tone. Maybe it's calling the person versus texting them. Whatever the thing might be for you. Just understand that the modality in which you communicate also may be important in terms of getting clarity around the type of communication you are sending, and also even the communication you are getting. Do not try to read between the lines. You're not likely to find a lot of the stuff that you're looking for. You might find things that were not really there. So I'd love to hear from you guys. What's shown up for you in either past Mercury retrogrades, what you're starting to experience now, if you're seeing this in the future, what happened during this Mercury retrograde in Taurus, and let's have a conversation, because everyone experiences a little different, but it typically has to do with some form of communication or delivery on something. And so I'm always curious to hear what other people's experiences are or stories in terms of how it is that you have felt it. So comment below, let's start a chat on that. And as always, it is an absolute pleasure to do these videos for you. Please subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, and I will see you guys on the next video. Bye.